James, you and I got together at Sebring, and now we're at Sun and Fun, and it appears you've flown a couple of airplanes while you've been down here.
I have, Dave, and none I've enjoyed more than the flight I had yesterday in the S20 Raven by RANS Aircraft, the latest progeny of Randy Schlitter, that multi-talented designer, manufacturer, amazing guy. What's he put out? 42 aircraft and variants, not to mention a full line of bicycles, recumbents, crank forward, which I didn't even know what that meant until I looked it up. A very inventive, ingenious designer, super guy, and really knows how to make fun flying, well-handling, well-performing airplanes.
Yeah, but in this airplane, he cheated a little bit. He took a couple of his real designs that he was having success with and liked, and he basically put them together so he didn't have to completely redesign a new airplane.
Yes, he did. He sort of self-plagiarization, I guess you could call it. That's a good point. He took the S7S Courier tail dragger tandem, front and back, semi-Stol bush plane that's very popular with customers for a number of years now of RANS, and the S2, the S6S Coyote 2, a side-by-side tricycle gear, more of a cruiser, light sport, optimal light sport, fun airplane, and put them together. And ended up with an airplane that has actually better performance than the Courier and all the comfort and more of the Coyote. You sit inside and the doors belly out. He designed a little bubble in the doors, and we were sitting there flying the whole time. We not only never touched shoulders, but I could have put a picnic lunch over my left side in that space between me and the door. It was a very comfortable experience.
And the door is a very long door too. It's almost as long as the one he uses in the S7.
That's right. It's a long door. You can move those seats forward and stick a bunch of cargo back there. There's a good cargo space. I don't know exactly what the cargo limit is because it's a function of useful load, but you can carry a lot of volume back there. I know he's a big bicycle guy. He has been all these years, and he can put a couple folded up bikes in there and camping gear and stuff, and he's still plenty legal and got plenty of room.
Now, I noticed this is a tail dragger. My information is that he's also offering it as a convertible, so you can get it either way.
It is a convertible design, Dave. You're absolutely right. It's got a tricycle gear, or you can convert it to a tail dragger. It doesn't take very long, I think an hour or two. So you get, other than having floats, you get the benefits of both worlds. And that's a real plus for people who want to operate different kinds of fields.
So how is Randy offering this particular airplane to the market?
Randy's offering this as a kit airplane at this time, the S20 Raven. He told me he sold 15 to 20 airframes already because he's waiting for checks on a couple, but it's very popular. Just introduced it 3 months ago at Sebring. And then he said there's been so much demand for an SLSA version that he's going to offer that as well. He's working on the tooling up and the certification process now. He didn't.
So what are they powering this airplane with?
This is the Rotax 912 ULS, the ubiquitous standard of the LSA industry. What is it, something like 80% of all LSA, the 132 models so far certified, as I recall, are flying with Rotax. It's a dependable engine, 2,000 hour TBO, puts out 100 horsepower, more or less. And this particular prop is a 3-blade composite Whirlwind GA manufacturer propeller. Very smooth, didn't notice any cavitation. It's got a fairly beefy cord on it, unlike some of the thinner props which can tend to cavitate until you get them rolling. This baby starts pulling right away. I don't know whether it's probably optimized for somewhere between cruise and climb, but it had a very hefty climb to it. Andy did a Stol high-performance takeoff, where we revved up the engine, held the toe brakes, got very nice toe brake integration into the rudder pedals, which are a flat plate rudder pedal, which I like. Your foot feels very comfortable on them. And the toe brakes are at the top of that, so toe braking is really comfortable. So we hold on the brakes full power, got rolling, tail pops up in about 2 seconds, 30 knots indicated, pull up on the flap handle, go to full flaps, 4 notches, and the airplane immediately pops off, keep the nose down and level, ease the flap handle off, and we were climbing out, and I'd say about 125 feet. So it's comparable to a lot of Stol airplanes that people would want to use for those kind of semi-bush or even fairly good bush with big tire operations. And of course you have the other end, which is the cruise thing.
What did the cruise come in at?
Cruise came in at about 100, I saw over 105 knots. Book on it is 112 miles per hour. And that's probably a little conservative on Randy's part, but he tends to be that way. He's always liked to not overstate what the airplane can do, but rather be a little more modest and conservative. And his airplanes usually outperform the book on them. So,
Now, you're what, nearly 6 feet tall?
nearly. One more inch and I'd be there.
Randy's also fairly tall. How did the two of you fit in the airplane? Like, is it?
So the seat mechanism is typically Randy's flitter. You fold the back forward and just pull on the seat if you're on the ground. If you're sitting in the airplane, you just unstrap because it restricts you otherwise. There's a crossover shoulder strap. And you lean forward and just scooch up with your butt. Works great, easy to adjust. It's typical Randy's flitter inventiveness in that he's got a very simple camming mechanism, so there's not a lot of levers and stuff to pull. You just lean forward, scooch it up, and it locks solid, and you feel very secure.
So control system wise, were the control systems all in a spot where it was convenient for you?
Yeah, it's dual sticks, center mounted, dual pedals, left side brakes, right side brakes, dual brakes too. I had to think about that for a second. There's a center throttle quadrant, which is a spring-loaded, which Rotax does put out with some of its engines, a spring-loaded vernier. So if you have the friction loose and let it go, it'll slam forward. So he says, here's the way I do it, Jim. I just tighten that down, and then you just use a little muscle, and then it'll stay right where you want it. You don't have to mess with it. But he says, and I found that it was, I actually like that better than having to tighten and untighten. Just push it, pull it, piece of cake. Flap handle is right between the seats, and it's just a button Johnson bar type of deal, about that long. Not a huge thing, but plenty of leverage, feels really good. There are 4 notches, I think. So as we were saying, we have the sticks are very comfortable, the visibility is great. I didn't feel any, there's no armrests on either left or right side, but I didn't notice them, flying along. There's so much arm room on either side. Like I said before, we didn't touch, plenty of room on the left side. Visibility is great in the skylight, which is goes back to the trailing edge. You go into a little bank, even 10 to 15 degrees, and you can see out over the top of the wing. This gives you excellent visibility for traffic in a pattern, other people flying near you, whatever. Flying in a practice area, it's always good to know who's around there and you can see them. High wing pilots all know about that. And
with the cabin, with the bubble doors, it must be fairly wide in there.
I think it's almost 50 inches, yeah. I don't know the exact number, 48, 50 inches. But it feels like you're sitting in a nice roomy car. It's a very comfortable airplane. Plus, Randy's told me he likes to fold the seat all the way back on the ground and just stretch out, or in a long flight, his passenger or he will, if they're swapping back and forth, they'll just lay back and semi-reclined like a chaise lounge and have a really nice little nappy in there. It's very comfortable. It's kind of good for plane camping, which is, I think, something he had in mind. When he put the bubbles in there, he actually thinks that contributed to some of the reduction in drag. He hasn't quite figured it out yet, he said, but he's very happy for the benefit. Here's an example of how to adjust the seat. You see it's an aluminum frame with some support material, and you just push it forward like this and then slide back to where you want it. Raise the seat up. Randy recommends you put it all the way back to get in, but it's actually pretty easy to get in it when it's adjusted the way you like it. And, do the pedal on with your heel on the ground. It's very comfortable. And if you want to adjust in flight, do the same thing. Scoot up. And there we go.
That looks like a fairly neat little instrument panel there.
Yeah, he's got a nice setup here. Like a lot of manufacturers, he's got a lot of options you can do, but right now we've got a Garmin Era 560. Nice analog setup here. Little 6-pack over there. Garmin radio and transponder. Fairly basic setup.
There's a throttle in the center.
Yeah, and if you let it go, some people don't like that. I'm one of them. So this actually works out pretty well. And you can see where the stick sits, your arm pretty much rests on your knees anyway. I hadn't really thought about it when I was flying.
And Randy's got those sticks that he designs that come forward and then back, so that it's easy for access getting in and out.
Yeah, excellent point. That's a really excellent point. Yes. So it is easy to get into, and it just feels good, his mechanism, the way he links everything up. It's a combination of control rods and cabling. And
the fuel gauge is just above your head there.
is it? I never even looked at it. Thanks. Yeah, we got one on each side in the wing root panel. Another nice thing about this airplane, I've got some J3 time, and which I always enjoy. But sitting in that airplane, especially back in the well when you fly it solo, you can't see over the nose by a half shot. You do a lot of S-turning and stuff. Here, sitting on the ground at my height, 5'11", I can see over, just craning up a little bit, I can see probably about 5 degrees below the horizon, if not more, which is great for taxiing, so you can do straight ahead taxiing. So let's talk about the landings that I made. Randy is one of these guys, you jump in the seat and he says, okay, take it. You know, if he's flown with you at all and he knows you. And so he did me that honor, and I eagerly accepted. So coming in over to South Lakeland, where you have more freedom than here, it's a pretty restricted pattern here. We set up for downwind and shot throttle about 70 knots indicated, pulled in a notch of flaps, turned base, put in a second notch, slowed down to about 55 or 60. I said, you know, what's your comfortable approach speed? He said, oh, you can pretty much do whatever you like, around 60, 70. So we did that. And turned base, and I'd misjudged it, so I was high. So this is my first landing. I had not even landed in the aircraft with either one of us controlling it. So I thought, well, I'll do what I've learned to do in my sport pilot training, because I always came in high. It's my old hang glider experience, I guess. And just kicked the pedal over and flopped the stick and did a really nice side slip, and it was dropping out. I saw a good 1,000 foot a minute sink rate. Nice big fuselage back here to help you out and correct your peccadillos in the landing pattern. Then we kicked it around. The rudder's very effective. Slowed down below 50, below 45, 40. Said hold it off, like a conventional airplane. And it just settled right on. I made just a little bit of a 2-point landing, and then tail settles on. Probably from my past habits flying the Cub, I was expecting the tail to come down further because it's more of a rake angle. But second landing, I did a much better job than that. But all three landings, the thing I really liked about flying this airplane is it felt comfortable and familiar to me right away. That's true of the doing turns and just general air work, flying around. It's very easy to set. Trim controls are very easy. Got button trim on top and bottom. Tap, 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 and you're retrimmed. It's very effective, very quick. It's a typical Randy Schlitter airplane, I think, in that it's very user-friendly.
Did he give you any problem with stall at all?
The stall, we did both departure and approach stalls. The approach stall with all the way power back, doing slow flight and just bleeding off until it dropped. It was kind of a mush. You get plenty of a warning burble. It's not a hard burble, but you can feel it. And then you just literally relax the stick with a thumb and 2 fingers. As I commented on that one when I was flying with it, I said, okay, I'm going to watch you do the first one. He just kind of eased the stick forward about an inch or so, and we were flying again. Departure stall, he said, if you're full power and you just really reef it back, it'll do a full brake. We didn't actually do one of those, but we did approach the stall at probably about 80-85% throttle, I'm guessing, and it seemed you had no tendency to drop off on a wing, no nasty habits. Very comfortable airplane to fly. And once again, warning burble, plenty of warning ahead of time. Okay, so quick check-off list of the things I like about this airplane. Seats are very comfortable, very good support, lumbar support as well. Seats are adjustable. You can also recline them and kick back for a snooze, or and of course push them way forward to get a lot of cargo in the back there. Plenty of room in the cargo bay, which is really nice. I like the center mounted throttle. It's just a good old traditional setup. Not to mention the nice curved sticks and the comfortable grip. Even this side feels good. Beautiful layout on the panel, very orderly, like Randy has a very organized mind. And all steam gauges. Love the air vents. NACA inlets outside work really great. Super visibility, easy to see the gas gauges. So probably the biggest challenge I have here in trying to be as objective as possible about an airplane that I clearly like and felt comfortable in within the first 5 minutes I was in the air with it. I can't really fault it on anything, certainly nothing major. I can't even think of any minor offhand, so I'm just going to say it's a really nice airplane. If you're in the market for a convertible tail dragger tricycle gear aircraft, if that appeals to you, you want Stol chops, you want really nice cruising comfort and speed, and high wing kind of pleasure, sightseeing pleasure, whatever you want to call it, you should give a look to this aircraft. If you want to build it, you can put it together for much less money than for ready to fly, but the ready to fly will be on the market as well. And knowing Randy, you'll have several options to go with. So I definitely give this a big thumbs up. It's a really nice airplane. Okay, so for more information for the full flight report, you can go to lightsportaircraftblog.com. That's my site, James Lawrence. And for all the information you need, contacts and info and all that, go to RANS.com. That's RANS.com.